Isn't it about time we legalize sex work, make it a protected business stuff, allow people to become their own bosses and pay taxes and all that? It would free up cops from having to bust people just because they're banging somebody else. It is pretty wild how you can do sex work if it's filmed and it's legal because it's considered porn, but the moment you take away the camera, it becomes illegal. How does that make any sense? And we could also help tackle sex trafficking because with sex work being a legal business, it would be harder to bring in illegal sex workers when there's an actual thriving business for it.
We start at the 5 with a big story tonight. High-end brothels reportedly happening in our own backyard.
The Department of Justice arresting 3 people for operating 2 in Virginia and 1 in Massachusetts. Some of their customers allegedly include elected officials, military officers, and government contractors. Fox 5's Tisha Lewis joining us live from McLean tonight. Tisha?
Well, an incredible story here in the latter that you mentioned are people who have security clearances. So obviously that adds an additional layer of concern, problematic to say the least. We are here at one of 2 addresses that the Department of Justice listed as where these brothels are occurring here on the 1500 block of West Branch Drive. Investigators say interested sex buyers reportedly provided employer information, references, and then booked appointments. 3
Wow, employment information and stuff like that, that's kind of wild. Maybe I could understand, you know, references so that, they could vet the people, but wild.
people are charged with conspiracy to coerce and entice to travel to engage in illegal sexual activity. Those people are 41-year-old Cambridge, Massachusetts resident Han Lee, 68-year-old Torrance, California resident James Lee, and 30-year-old Massachusetts resident Jen Mai Lee. They've been arrested and accused of operating these brothels in Boston and Virginia. The Department of Justice describes the operation as sophisticated and says sex buyers apparently include elected officials, high-tech and pharmaceutical executives, doctors, and more. In fact, again, we're told the so-called client list include government contractors who have security clearances. Charging documents indicate apparent sex buyers would go to brothels in Cambridge, Watertown, and right here in the Tysons area, and also in Fairfax on the 2900 block of District Avenue in the Mosaic District.
Sadly, it doesn't surprise me in the sense that if you read the announcement made by DOJ, what it does indicate is the fact that these individuals were allegedly very sophisticated in how they operated this particular brothel. I mean, they simply had connections overseas. They were able to bring mostly Asian women to the United States, and they were able to provide, their quote unquote services in a way that was almost undetectable.
I mean, if the women were going voluntarily and, doing it of their own free will, then an issue. If they were coerced or forced, um, then yeah, that's sex trafficking, and that should be dealt with. But if people are doing stuff of their own free will, then it's just another business transaction, and our capitalist system should enjoy that.
The defendants are accused of enticing women, primarily Asian women, to travel to Massachusetts and also Virginia and engage in prostitution using high-end apartment complexes as the location. Many of these places charging rent for up to $4,000 a month. The defendants charging up to $600 per hour. The Department of Justice urging anyone in the
Wow, $600 per hour. That is a lot of money for somebody to make. Imagine if there was an actually like legally protected business. Uh, there's a lot of good that could be made from it.
community who may have any information about all this to contact them.